everyone to our women's game at Kingston Heath this evening. Our starting lineups for today are for Bulleen, number 12, Mary Brown, number 7, Daniela Buttress, number 16, Grace Kamina, number 8, Sarah Kane, the captain, number 11, Anae Josefsky, number 15, Malloy, number 14, Maddie Racky, number 3, Catherine Renahan, number 21, Rosie Roger, number 19, Nia Saleh, and number 25, Emily Shields. For Bentleigh Greens, we have our captain, number 4, Sydney Allen, number 12, Reagan Bridges, number 3, Izzy Fernandez, number 11, Delaney Kenny, number 5, Ashla Firth, number 14, Annalia Kopoulos, number 1, our goalkeeper Taylor Murphy, number 10, Coco Parker, number 13, Belinda Sokiewski, number 8, Caitlin Storey, and number 17, Karina Tolios. Good luck and have a great game, girls.
Welcome to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex for Friday night football in NPLW Victoria. Round 7 action as Bentleigh Greens host Bulleen Lions in a game with great significance for both teams for different reasons. Bentleigh coming into this week looking to get back on track after a few results that haven't exactly gone their way over the last month or so, whilst for Bulleen, they've certainly... and really just about throughout NPLW Victoria history, certainly will be anticipating finding themselves higher up the ladder. But as our referee Thomas Rushton blows the whistle to get play underway, Bulleen kicking from left to right on your screen in this opening half. Bentleigh, of course, going from right to left. And as mentioned, Bulleen coming into this game off the back of a big win, a 3-0 win in fact at home against Burundara Eagles last time out, and what was probably their best performance of the season so far, and Caitlin Friend has named an unchanged lineup as a result. So we see an early foray down the left-hand side for the host Bentleigh. This is Coco Parker, one of 2 inclusions that Bentleigh have made to their 11. Just running through, though, the Bulleen lineup. In goal, Emily Shields. Number 3 is Kat Renahan. 7, Danny Buttress. Number 8 is Sarah Kane. Number 10, Maddie Rakic. 11, Anae Josefsky. Number 12, Mary Brown. 15, Kristen Malloy. 16, Grace Cagnina. 19, Nia Saleh. And 21 in the middle of the park is Rosie Roger. So we see Nia Saleh spreading the play out to the left-hand side, where Danny Buttress looks to look towards a more central area. And now an opportunity for Bentleigh to spring in the opposite direction. Declan Enza listed on the team sheet as the interim head coach, having parted ways with Ange Kutas a couple of weeks ago, Bentleigh, after what was a shock home defeat in the Nike Cup to Bundoora United. And they've made 2 changes to the 11, which lost 4-3 at BT Connor Reserve last time out against Preston. Those changes seeing Coco Parker and Karina Tolios given a start for tonight. They've taken the places of Ellie Torre and Emily Keppens, who are both on the bench. But running through the rest of the lineup, in goal it is Taylor Murphy. Number 3, Izzy Fernandez. 4 is the captain, Sydney Allen. 5, Ashla Firth. 8, Caitlin Storey. Number 10, as mentioned, Coco Parker. 11, Delaney Kenny. Number 12, Reagan Bridges. 13, Belinda Stoichevsky. 14, Anna Leakopoulos. And of course, in the number 17 shirt is Karina Tolios, brought into the lineup for tonight's game. A touch from Brown, a good one into the path of Roger, who uses Sarah Kane. Sarah Kane probably playing her best game in a Bulleen shirt last time out. And not a coincidence that the team as a whole improved dramatically as a result. This is Sydney Allen. Ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac and gave it away to Rosie Roger. That through ball, though, will easily be gotten to first by Reagan Bridges. There has been a huge amount of turnover to the Bentleigh squad ahead of this season. And you'd think that really picking up 5 points from 6 games up to this point in the season isn't that bad of a return for a team that narrowly escaped the drop last season. In fact, in the starting 11 tonight, only 2 players who were at Bentleigh last season, Izzy Fernandez and Coco Parker. Here's one of those players in Parker. Cross inside towards Allen. Allen wasn't able to get on top of the ball. And it's that other player who's remained at the club, or who was at the club last season, who's starting tonight, Izzy Fernandez, who picks it up. Ball inside. Allen's the closest. Shields had to come and claim. Didn't do so maybe as comfortably as she would have liked, but eventually able to reclaim the ball for Bulleen. See an exchange at the back between the 2 centre halves for Bentleigh. Reagan Bridges and Belinda Stojcevski. Stojcevski, of course, coming across from Preston in the off-season. This is an opportunity for Maeve Brown. Should say Mary Brown, rather. Ends up running into a little bit of trouble as Sydney Allen, who's removed the headband, at least for the moment. Ball through towards Parker. Still going is Coco Parker. Had a number of opponents to beat and did really well to keep the attack going for as long as she did. But in turn, it's Bulleen's opportunity now to jump forward for the counter. This is Buttress. Offside flag, though, is raised. Boyang Yu and Nicoletta Soteropoulos, the 2 assistant referees for tonight's game, working alongside Thomas Rushton, and Costa Limberis is the 4th official. Taylor Murphy has the ball for Bentleigh and ends up just choosing to go for distance. Bulleen scramble back to win possession. That pass, though, intercepted by Lefebvre. Now Allen hoping to return the favour to the teammate that crossed over from Alamein with her in the off-season to Bentleigh, alongside Taylor Murphy, of course. Once again, Parker is the target for the release ball. Gets around Maddie Rakic at the first attempt. Still going, Coco Parker. Lost her footing at a vital moment, and that allowed Bulleen to get the ball away. Ball well won back by Kenny. Now this is Fernandez. Thought about pulling the trigger, goes the more patient approach, and it's a long-range attempt from Caitlin Story into the gloves of her former teammate in Emily Shields. Story, of course, crossing down to Bentleigh from Bulleen in the off-season. So coming up against a number of former teammates, having been unable perhaps to get as much game time at Bulleen as she would have liked. Just a little bit of concern in the aftermath as one of the Bulleen players has remained on the deck. A little bit of concern for the visitors to see the medical staff out there to provide some support and attention. Didn't actually see the incident in real time. Didn't look as if there was anything too obvious that's led to this, but we'll see if we can see on the replay exactly what the incident was. Looking as if everything should be good to continue, and Bulleen back with 11 players. I think it was near Saleh, who just was a little bit worse for wear after that challenge and trying to play through the ball. But Bulleen back to their full complement of 11. See Malloy trying to charge her way forward. In support there was Kane. Grace Cagnina passes it back to her goalkeeper, Emily Shields. Rosie Roger not on the same wavelength as Rakic. This is Lefebvre, looks inboard to Story. The attempted ball to Sydney Allen is overhit though. That win last time out for Bulleen against Boroondara, very much stopping a bit of a rut. 3 consecutive league defeats, almost unheard of in the NPLW era for Bulleen. It's the second time that has ever happened, and the first you've got to go back to the end of the 2016 campaign. So Caitlin Friend will be feeling a little bit more comfortable with her team back on the winners list. There's a chance here though for Fernandez. Sydney Allen weighted the ball very nicely, but Shields was alert and out to clear the ball. Caitlin Friend barking instructions at her team to push higher up the pitch. We know that Bulleen are at their most comfortable when they're dominating the territory battle and really suffocating their opponents. Haven't been able to quite establish that foothold in this game up to this point. Bentleigh doing a good job at keeping the game free-flowing and opportunities at either end. Here's a chance though for Brown. Her attempted reverse pass could end up at the feet of Yosefsky. Lefebvre doing just enough to get the ball away. Bentleigh coming into tonight with just the 1 point from their last 3 outings. Of course, that loss to Preston last time out. It's just been a little bit of a slump, but the benefit for Bentleigh is that the NPLW ladder is very much congested right at the minute in that middle part. Lots of teams close together. Of course, a win tonight, and they'll be level on points with their opponents, Bulleen. 9 points from 7 games, and You'd think that'd be a very satisfactory return from a Bentleigh Greens perspective. But they've got a real tough game of football ahead of them if they are to end up in that position. Move down the right-hand side. Bentleigh giving the ball away, and Sarah Kane now looking to release Buttress. Buttress trying to skip past her opponent, Karina Tolios, but Tolios held her ground. Tolios, another of the off-season recruits for Bentleigh, joining from Brunswick Juventus, having also played at the likes of Heidelberg and South Melbourne. So certainly no stranger to the bigger clubs in NPLW Victoria. Buttress unable to keep the ball in play, so Taylor Murphy will get us back underway with the goal kick. The meetings between these two sides, looking back into the history of NPLW, heavily weighted in favour of Bulleen. We see the press here causing all sorts of trouble for the Bentleigh defence. Ball inside towards Brown. Could fall into the path of Nia Saleh. It's a wonderful defensive effort, though, from Reagan Bridges, as Bentleigh do enough to avert the danger. And now Ash Lefebvre will look to lead the counter. Goes cross-field, hoping to pick out Fernandez. And will eventually end up at the winger's feet. Fernandez looks inside towards Kenny. Back with the winger, whose cross inside is well blocked. And Bentleigh will have to settle for a throw-in. This first 15 minutes already looking more promising for Bentleigh than either of their meetings with the Bulleen last season. Bulleen coming away with the 3 points on both of those occasions. An aggregate score of 11 goals to 1. A 7-0 win at the Ven, as well as a 4-1 win here at Kingston Heath. Albeit just about every player who featured in those games for the Lions not out on the park tonight. Sydney Allen's cross into the box is a good one as well. A little bit too much height on it for Parker. And Emily Shields grateful as the ball rolls behind for a goal kick. Mentioned those two meetings last season, very much going with the trend of how most of the contests between Bulleen and Bentleigh or Bayside have gone. 22 in the NPLW era. 22 times they've met. 18 of those Bulleen have come away with the win. Just the 2 wins for Bentleigh. Albeit one of those the time before last that they met here at Kingston Heath. 2-0 win back in 2023 thanks to a Miwa Sasaki double. Hoping to repeat that trick will be Sydney Allen. Lofts the ball into the box, but no harm for the Bulleen Lions defence. Sydney Allen did score a brace last week in that defeat to Preston. No doubt one of the big off-season moves, joining the Greens alongside gold medal winner Rebecca Saber, who we haven't seen for Bentleigh. This is Nia Saleh looking to lead the Bulleen charge. Cagnina sliding it up forward. Buttress not able to beat a couple of Greens defenders. Sydney Allen hunting down and applying the press on Kat Renahan. Thankfully for the Bulleen defender, it ricocheted towards her goalkeeper. Fair to say it's been an evenly matched first 17 or 18 minutes of this game. Lefebvre. Fernandez, who's swapped over to this left-hand side. Expect to see both teams switching their wingers around at various points. Just keeping the opposition fullbacks guessing. Malloy's pass up into the path of Tolios, who sends it out for a Bulleen throw. Clever turn from Cagnina, but wasn't able to keep the ball in play. Matty Rackets charging out of defence and using Sarah Kane. Nina's ball into the feet of Brown. Now Saleh. As the youthful Bulleen attack gets to work. This is Buttress. Racing through on the outside and brought to the deck. Outside the box though. So Bulleen will have a set piece from a dangerous position. No surprise it's Danny Buttress who ups the tempo in the Bulleen attack, as she so often does, scoring that sensational goal last time out against Burundara. And now winning her team a free kick in a fairly uncomfortable position if you're a Bentleigh Greens defender. Somewhat like a corner, just with a few extra metres advantage for Bulleen. This one sent into the back post. It finds the head of Malloy. The Greens defenders were well placed to get it clear. The follow-up shot draws the save. Chance still alive for Bulleen. The offside flag has gone up, I think against Rosie Roger. At the time that the shot came in, Roger not doing enough to get back on side. That's as good a look as really either team have had in this first half so far. Taylor Murphy called into action, but meets the task. Bulleen just looking a little bit more energised as a result, but Bentleigh looking to catch them on the break. Pass well read by Yosefsky. Now Saleh trying towards Brown, but reading it better was Bridges. And did well to play it off the young forward as well, did Reagan Bridges, the American recruit for Bentleigh. Brought in from Florida International University in Miami. And there's danger for Bentleigh again playing out from the back. You can see it's the style of choice. Just inviting a little bit of Bulleen pressure. They haven't been stung as of yet, the Greens. Kristen Malloy, who's adapted seamlessly to life at Bulleen, alongside her familiar centre-back partner in Kat Renahan, both crossing over from Alamein. In fact, this game tonight is really a showcase of really half the Alamein team from last season. In both sides, a number of players who made that switch, and looks as if all parties have worked out fairly happy from it as well, with Alamein flying high early in their season. Stojcevski carrying the ball out of defence, and that one read best by Kagnina. Ball one back in the middle of the park by Leakopoulos. Only temporarily though, as Sarah Kane comes away with the ball. Bulleen did find out during the week that their opponents in the next round of the Nike Cup will be Boroondara again. Sydney Allen tries her luck from a long way out. Boroondara, a team that, well, we mentioned how good the Bulleen record is against Bentleigh. It's comparably one-sided against the Eagles. So they'll feel pretty confident about that one, having just beaten their neighbours 3-0 last time out. Leakopoulos trying to pick out her captain. Might get another look at it in a moment as Bentleigh charge forward through Kenny. Lefebvre back to Fernandez. Back inside to Kenny. Story looks towards Allen. And the end result is Anna Leakopoulos will retreat to her centre-back pairing. Leakopoulos, who of course has largely made a name for herself at this level as a central defender herself. Formerly with the FE Academy teams in Boroondara. She just spent the one season last year making the team of the season before making the move to Bentleigh. One of the more highly rated young defenders in Victorian football, as that pass out wide does find Parker. There's a chance here for Bentleigh. The cross inside to Allen. The Bulleen defenders did really well to close down the space and force a scrappy shot. And that took all the danger out of it for Emily Shields. Allen again for Bentleigh. To the right-hand side, Leakopoulos arriving. Anna Leakopoulos across the face of goal and wide of the post. Bentleigh, though, getting closer to an opener. Sydney Allen, unsurprisingly, at the heart of a lot of it. Leakopoulos making the run from her usual deep six position. And the finish beat Emily Shields, but also beat the far post. Roger now for Bulleen, who will want to reassert a little bit of control in this game. It's a good ball to Yasevsky. Made it awkward to deal with for Taylor Murphy. Did just enough to prevent going behind for a corner. Renahan stepping out from defence, giving it away to Lefebvre. Almost finds Sydney Allen. It did strike the hand, though, of the playmaker. So approaching the half-hour mark here at Kingston Heath. It's been a thoroughly engrossing contest thus far. Both teams having half looks at goal and both trying to assert a little bit of control, but neither succeeding for an extended period. Chance for Buttress to get the cross inside. The numbers prevailed, though, for Bentleigh. The Greens happy to go all the way back to Taylor Murphy. Throw taken quickly by Rakic. Stepping out from the back line was Bridges, but Brown got the ball out to Roger. Now Buttress. Still Danella. Buttress gets the shot, which stings the palms of Murphy. And Bentleigh forced to concede the corner. So a good look here for the Lions from one of their renowned specialties, the dead ball, as Nia Saleh is charged with delivering it. Saleh's cross into the middle of the box. Agnini got the first touch. And just hoofed clear and picked up by Allen. Allen looks towards Lefebvre. We've seen those two passing it between each other countless occasions in this first half hour. Fernandez now tries the cross and plays it off Malloy for a corner of the green zone. So from one end to the other, now it's the hosts with the chance to deliver the ball into the box. Allen's delivery meets a Bulleen head, and Nia Saleh will take the chance to carry it out from defence. Doesn't get too far as Fernandez wins the ball back for the Greens. It's the game reverting to the fairly free-flowing contest that we've seen for large parts of this first 45. Allen applying the press and very nearly pinching it off former teammate Malloy. Now Renahan, met by the header of Bridges, who encourages her teammates to step up the defensive line as well. Now Lefebvre and Yosefsky. It's Lefebvre who uses her physicality to win out, as well as her height. Sydney Allen now sliding it through. It's a good ball as well. The offside flag is raised, so it wouldn't have mattered. But a glorious chance for Bentleigh. Coco Parker's attempt just wide of the post. Bentleigh really threatening the Bulleen goal in the last 10 or so minutes, making life fairly uncomfortable for their visitors. Once again, Lefebvre in prime position to win back possession for the Greens. Bulleen struggling to pose as much of a threat in the last little while. It's consistent with a large part of their struggle this season. Just the 6 goals in 6 league games this season. That's the equal fewest alongside bottom of the league, Brunswick Juventus. Very much uncharacteristic for a team who just about couldn't stop scoring last season. We know, of course, the personnel changes that come with Bulleen losing individuals to the A-League, most notably Maya Markovski. But even then, they'll be hoping that they can cover for her absence a little bit more effectively than they have up to now. Sarah Kane certainly has the quality to do that, trying to find Jasevsky, but Ash Lefebvre has got well on top of that contest. And once again, we'll come away with possession. Story now finds Allen. Allen towards Fernandez. Chance again for the Greens. Izzy Fernandez. Run made at the opposite post by Parker. Looks more central instead towards Story. Lefebvre. Cross field. Finds Parker. Once again is offside though. Just a little bit of frustration for the Bentleigh winger, as caught offside twice in quick succession. So what do Bulleen have by way of a response to? It's been a flurry of Bentleigh attacks. Trying first to take real control of the game as Renahan and Malloy share the ball between themselves. Rakic inboard to Roger. Run made by Saleh. It was a crucial intervention by Bridges. And rinse and repeat for Bentleigh. Izzy Fernandez off down the left wing. Rosie Roger is the closest to her. Fernandez cuts back onto her right. Went herself this time. The shot somewhat scuffed though, and a comfortable take for Shields. Rakic for Bulleen, ball down the right wing. This time we'll get to Jasevsky, crosses it first time, too close to Taylor Murphy. Murphy, he receives a warm round of applause from the home faithful. Now buttress for Bulleen. Limiting her influence has been one of the main reasons for Bentleigh's success in keeping the Bulleen attack quiet up to this point. It's been a major task assigned to Karina Tolios, but has done really effectively with some support from the likes of Leakopoulos dropping back. That ball in could fall the way of Roger. Bridges sends it clear. Now Stojcevski back with Tolios. Looks as if Danny Buttress has remained on the deck after that last coming together. And the Bulleen medical staff will be called into action once again. Not the sort of night where you want to be picking up these kinds of knocks. Brisk evening as it is. So we'll once again take the opportunity for a break in play as Buttress receives that treatment, and certainly from a neutral perspective, we hope that that's not going to force her out of the game tonight. We'll step outside the perimeter of the pitch. So referee goes to check on the players' welfare. Confirmed that it will be good to get back underway. Bulleen will have to play for a little bit with just 10 players as we head into the final 5 minutes of this first half. So we do get back underway with Bentleigh passing it back to Taylor Murphy. And maybe an opportunity here for the hosts to exploit their numerical advantage. Less likely, of course, though, to get the counter-attacking chances that they were getting for the last 15 or so minutes. Sarah Kane winning the ball back from Caitlin Story. Rakic back inboard towards Kane. And Bulleen will retreat to Emily Shields in goal. There is a hand signal being made by the medical staff member over on the far side of the pitch where Danny Buttress got that treatment. Not sure if it was directed at the central referee to bring her back on, or maybe indicating that a swap is necessary. It does indeed look like the substitution will be required. So a major blow for Bulleen, not just for tonight, but if it's anything more serious than perhaps longer, if indeed the substitution does need to take place. This is Nia Saleh for the Lions, using Roger. Met by Leakopoulos. Leakopoulos' pass read by Malloy, one of the standout players in last week's win against Boroondara. Steps out of the defensive line so effectively. That time the pass is a little bit astray as Tolios looks to send it out towards Parker. And indeed, the early substitution will be incoming. So a premature end to the evening for Danella Buttress. Such an exciting prospect as well, so certainly disappointment on that front. Looks as if it will be Taylor Golden, Bulleen's off-season recruit from the US, who will take her place. Golden did score coming off the bench against Boroondara. Her first in Bulleen colours, so we'll be hoping to carry forward the momentum from that game. Renahan for Bulleen. Tries to slice right through the middle of the Bentleigh defence. Did so effectively. Saleh got there, and eventually Stojcevski clears it. Real danger, though, for Bentleigh Greens dealing with that, despite the numerical advantage. And they will come away with the throw. That will allow the substitution to be made. And it is indeed the end of the evening for Buttress and Taylor Golden to replace her. So the player brought in from South Georgia to mentor. Taylor Golden will get a long look at this game. Just 30 seconds plus stoppage time to go in this first half. This is Caitlin Story. Looking inside towards Kenny. Bulleen winning back the ball. That through ball best read by Stojcevski. And that will just about take us into first half stoppage time. Of which there will be the 2 minutes to be played. So a couple more minutes for either side to steal a goal just before the break. You know how treasured goals just before halftime can be in terms of totally changing the dynamic heading into the second half. This is Brown. There's plenty of work to do for Rakic, and never looked likely to get there ahead of Bridges. Leakopoulos out towards Lefebvre. Lefebvre this time goes longer towards Allen, who cleverly played it into the path of Kenny. Delaney Kenny, though, losing her footing and giving away the ball. Maybe a final chance this time, led by Roger out towards Brown. Brown tries the cross towards Golden. Deflects off Ash Lefebvre, and Bulleen will have a final corner to attempt to snatch the lead before the break. And in what have been difficult conditions, a tightly contested first half of action, this delivery from Brown to break the deadlock before the half. Got past Taylor Murphy, still the ball was live. Bentleigh doing just enough to defend their goal. And that will bring us to the halftime break. So 0-0 remains the score at halftime. It's been an evenly contested first 45. Both teams having looks at goal. Bentleigh real threats on the counter. Bulleen a number of set-piece opportunities as well. But as things stand, the game very much hanging in the balance as we head towards the second 45 of action. But half-time here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. The scoreline reads Bentleigh Greens 0, Bulleen Lions 0. Welcome back to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Second half underway between Bentleigh Greens and Bulleen Lions. 0-0 remains the score throughout the first half, and of course we're underway with the second now, with both teams certainly looking more than capable of sneaking into the lead and potentially taking 3 points. What is a heavily congested pack in the NPLW ladder early on in the campaign. This round 7 meeting. And in the time before the A-League Stars come back, the competition evenly poised and all teams trying to get an early, or build up an early foundation on which they can build for the rest of the campaign. Bulleen making their first foray forward of the half as Taylor Golden does enough to maintain possession for her team. And Maddie Rakic will take the throw. So an evenly contested first half of action. Bentleigh probably coming away with the weight of chances, looking good on the counter-attack. Bulleen struggling to get the kind of foothold that they like to have in these sorts of games. Throw-in finds Nia Saleh. Long-range shot blocked, and the weight of numbers for Bentleigh will eventually allow them to clear the ball. Izzy Fernandez starting back on the right-hand side in this second half. Was a key component of most of those counter-attacking opportunities, using her pace down the wing. Scrap for the ball in the middle of the park, and it's cleared away in the end. Upfield by Leakopoulos. Saleh goes across to Renahan. Kat Renahan stepping out of the defensive line. Trying to slide a ball through, but only finding Ash Lefebvre. This is Coco Parker, who had one of the better chances in that first half. And in the end, Bentleigh coming away with the throw, as they'll look for the first time in the second half to apply some attacking pressure to Bulleen. They don't get very far. It's good close control by Parker. And now Tolios has Fernandez tried to play it into the path of Storey. Malloy looks centrally over the head of Roger. And now Allen looks inboard, finds the feet of Parker. Reverse pass is a good one as well. Chance for the shot to get away. And Delaney Kenny forcing the save out of Emily Shields. Goalkeeper of more than high enough quality to deal with it. And a good first look at goal for the Greens. For the first time in the half, Bulleen looking to build up from deep. Malloy up towards Brown, but slightly misdirected, and that allows Tolios to play it out. Allen has Parker in space. Bit of a tussle just on the edge of the area. Between Parker and Rakic. It's the Bulleen defender who won out though. And now Sarah Kane to launch the counter. Trying to find Brown, but Tolios avoided getting tripped up by the ball played behind her. Malloy. Out to Cagnina. In towards Kane. That ball into the feet of Saleh. Now Brown. Looks in board. Well met by Bridges. And the American centre half will have the chance to clear the ball upfield, which he takes quickly. Now Rakic for Bulleen. This time down the right-hand side, hoping for Yosefsky, who does enough to win a corner. Yosefsky, the only player to have scored more than the one goal in NPLW this season. Her and Danella Buttress, the two with a couple each. Otherwise, just Nia Saleh and Taylor Golden have a goal to their name. Bulleen corner sent in. This one a little bit flat. Golden was the first to get a boot to it, but never looked especially comfortable. So the Greens will get play back underway with their own goal kick once the ball is retrieved. This game does end level tonight. Won't do a huge amount of good for either team, but it'll lift Bulleen up above Burundara on 10 points. Whilst it won't change the position of Bentleigh, but of course is at least a point to the tally as they look to keep pace with the rest of the competition. I mentioned how heavily congested it is, just the 6 points separating 5th and 12th at the bottom, so doesn't take a whole lot for any team to make a charge up the ladder. Pretty clear drag back will prompt the referee's whistle for the foul on Kenny. This is the only NPLW match taking place tonight before we see the other 5 games tomorrow in the afternoon and into the evening. Some really interesting matchups as well. The teams currently leading the way at the top will all be playing games at home in which they'll be heavily favoured. So we see a long-range attempt coming in. That one from Caitlin Story, never looking especially likely to trouble Shields. On that list of matchups, Alamein hosting Brunswick Juventus, South Melbourne hosting Spring Hills, and Heidelberg hosting Box Hill. Meanwhile, Preston head to the home of the Matildas to play FV Academy before the round is closed out with an evening fixture at the Ven, Burundara and Essendon Royals. So for Bulleen in particular, who will no doubt have ambitions of finishing right at the top of the NPLW ladder again. You consider all their main rivals for that position likely winners tomorrow, far from guarantees of course, but will be warm favourites. They'll be particularly keen to not allow any further distance to accumulate between themselves and the top of the tree. And this game so far, you'd have to say they've been second best to Bentleigh. Have lost their main attacking outlet in Danella Buttress in that first half to an injury. Izzy Fernandez. Clever combination with Kenny. Cross comes in. Out to Tolios, who you wonder if maybe she saw that far corner and the space available to her and had a crack. Just swung a boot though and goes well wide of the goal frame. Looking at the benches for each team, Bulleen, of course, a very young set of players that Caitlin Friend has to turn to. Really relying on players from the youth team early in the campaign. Of course, a couple out in the starting 11 tonight as well. Whereas Bentleigh, they've got a number of options as when it comes to players who could potentially break open this game. Emily Keppins, of course, the number 9. One of the players that they could turn to. Georgia Candelis knows her way around goal, as does Renee Sofronides. Now, though, Dario Sumanic will be happy with where his team's standing, isn't he? As Saleh goes from a long way out. Some nice shape on the attempt, but right down the throat of Taylor Murphy. Allen now for Bentleigh. Skips around her opponent, Sydney Allen. Clever cut back onto the right. Goes towards the far post. Ends up between Izzy Fernandez and the goal, though, and out for a goal kick. So now Sarah Kane leads the charge for Bulleen alongside Rosie Roger. A surprising amount of space afforded to them in the middle of the park. And Yashevsky. Saleh. Can't get away from Leakopoulos. And once again, each time Bulleen jumped forward, Bentleigh looked to return the favour with interest. Bulleen did well to break up the counter there. And now we'll have some possession in the Bentleigh half. It's a nice ball from Kane to Golden. This is Brown. Cross inside. Offside again, though. A really good look for Bulleen. One of their nicer moves of the evening thus far. Bentleigh readying a handful of changes as we head towards the hour mark in this game. Very much there for the taking the 3 points if either side is able to seize control of the contest. Will be a couple of substitutions that Dario Sumanic makes when the next opportunity presents itself. It will be those two mentioned before. You should pose a real goal threat. Georgia Candelas and Emily Keppins. Salo fouled, and that should allow for the break and play that will prompt the Bentleigh substitutions. And it's the end of the night for Izzy Fernandez and Coco Parker. So the two wingers brought off and replaced by Candelas and Keppins. Candelas, who did score off the bench last time out in that game against Preston. So we'll see how Bentleigh fare with their refreshed attacking threat for the remainder of the game. Chance for Story inside to Allen. The fresh legs coming down the left-hand side in the form of Candelas. Cuts onto her right, but the Bulleen numbers crowded out the space. Cagnina up to Brown. It's a nice turn from Mary Brown. Gets around Tolios. Looks inboard to Roger. A great first touch from Rosie Roger. Excellent defending, though, by Reagan Bridges to delay the danger. There's a long-range attempt from Cagnina. Forces Murphy to palm it behind, so really the biggest attacking threat that we've seen Bulleen pose in quite a while in this game. That long-range attempt and that first touch from Rosie Roger as well was excellent to create a bit of space. Corner sent in. Bentleigh get the first head to it. Leokopoulou now trying to send it clear. Ends up back at the feet of Brown. It's an attempt of her own from Mary Brown. That one wide of the post. The urgency is just increasing minute by minute. Bulleen expect to win more or less every game they head into. Bentleigh sensing a vulnerability in their opposition tonight and trying to take advantage of it. Allen inboard to Keppins. Keppins almost finding Candelas. Ball left for Lefebvre. It's a heavy first touch. Still in play, though. Let to run by Kenny too far. Leokopoulou back to Allen. Sydney Allen tries her luck. Narrowly wide of the frame of the goal. Allen taking the opportunity to pull the trigger. Bulleen wasting no time to get the play back underway. Pass back from Kane, nearly pounced on by Allen. Keppins now running into Malloy. Mary Brown. Roger spreads back out to Brown. It's been a good response in the last 5 or so minutes from Bulleen. After Bentleigh looked to have all the momentum going their way, the Lions have really responded and are themselves posing a renewed attacking threat. That throw taken short to Golden. Last touch off the Bulleen forward. This game may well just call for one real moment of quality to separate the teams. To win the 3 points, Sydney Allen will be high up that list of potential candidates to provide that quality. Bridges. Playing it into Leakopoulos, who turns into a little bit of trouble towards the byline. Ends up as a Bentleigh throw-in towards Candelas. Lefebvre now gets the cross inside over the head of one. Renahan in place to clear. And there's an ambitious long-range attempt as well, onto the roof of the net as well. Reagan Ridges showing that it's not just the defensive part of her game that she's bringing to Bentleigh. That one not too far away. It has been those kinds of speculative long-range attempts that have been the closest that either team has really come, at least on a regular basis in this game. Both struggling to get high-quality looks inside the penalty area. And as we move past the halfway point of this second half, the game remains so finely poised. Nina turns into a little bit of space she made for herself. Pass is good as well to Saleh. Kane looks inboard to Rakic. That pass to Saleh met by Leakopoulos. Ball from Saleh out towards Brown on the left-hand side. Getting there first, and always looking favoured, was Tolios. This game tonight for Bentleigh, the first in a run of 3 out of 4 home games that they'll play over the next month. It's a tough trip next weekend when they'll head to Cross Keys to take on the Essendon Royals before home games against Burundara and Alamein. This is Matty Rakic, who wasn't able to take control with the initial bounce, but is composed in possession. Saleh's ball is a good one for Brown. Coming across is Stojcevski. Offside again, though. Bulleen, meanwhile, next week they're back at home to take on FE Academy for the real gauntlet of back-to-back games, away at Lakeside and then at home to Heidelberg. Puts the premium on tonight's points at an even higher level when you consider some of the tough fixtures they've got on the horizon. But with 20 minutes to go, the deadlock remains unbroken. Tolios, crossfield ball. Bulleen always favoured to recover the ball. Karina Tolios just getting some instructions from her coach about maybe being a little bit less ambitious with the next opportunity when there were options on the near side. Keppins. Tries to play in the run from Kenny. That ball cleared only as far as Tolios. Now Stojcevski in board, but coughs it up to Rogers. Or Roger, rather. Now Saleh. Out to Yasevski. Yasevski invited in board. Once again near Saleh. Concern is, I think it's Anna Leakopoulos who's gone to the deck just in that last challenge. Bulleen continue their attack. Bridges got there with the head, and Golden's attempt to get the ball back towards goal is only into the gloves of Murphy, and the goalkeeper will take the chance to send it out for a throw, which will allow Leakopoulos to have her concerns addressed. See the leg being stretched out as if for cramp. Hopefully it's nothing more than that. Leakopoulos back on her feet. Candelas has moved over to this right-hand side. Long ball over the top sets Keppins a task. It's cleverly defended, although given away to Story. Allen will continue the attack for the Greens. Going in for the challenge was Leakopoulos, who once again looks as if the cramp has flared up. Not easy to deal with. She attempts to block the passing lane for Cagnina. The Bentleigh defence did enough. It's Bentleigh preparing another change, presumably to relieve Leakopoulos, whose legs are very much giving way right at the minute. Bulleen hoping to take advantage. Brown, Kane. Bentleigh come away with the ball. Allen. 10 goals she scored last season with Alamein. That really threatening duo with Rebecca Saber. Has a couple scored for the Greens last week, as mentioned earlier. Leakopoulos and Delaney Kenny, the leading scorers for Bentleigh, 2 to each of their names. But at the next change of play, it'll be Renee Sofronidis who's brought on for Bentleigh. Leakopoulos charges in to make the challenge and timed it perfectly as well. And the growing sense of urgency continues to build. Allen up towards Story. Kane forced into retreat. And Emily Shields taking no chances as she sends it out into a bush over the fence, which will allow for the substitution to be made. And it is the end of the evening for Anna Leakopoulos, having to deal with some of that cramp in the second half. And so Renee Sofronidis, player who was a junior at Bayside early in her career, now a number of seasons in the senior team here at Bentleigh, given a crack in this last 15 or so minutes. Candelas, cross inside, Allen arriving, got underneath it. It was as clear-cut a look as Bentleigh have had, certainly from inside the box. Sydney Allen scooping her shot up and over the crossbar. It's Allen again. Manufactures a little bit of room. Story hoping to continue, but Rakic has defended really well throughout tonight. Appeals for a free kick. Referee not interested. And eventually, Bulleen are able to get the ball clear. Stochevski's pass cut out by Kane. Saleh looking to release Brown. And the result is a cleverly cleared ball by Tolios off Mary Brown. And that will be the final involvement for Brown this evening. She's substituted out of the contest, and her place will be taken by Rose Martins, getting her crack at senior level. Bulleen continuing to lean on some of the younger academy players, and Martins will now get a shot in the last, a bit over 10 minutes of regulation time that remain. Ball inboard. Story looking towards Candelas. Running out was Bridges. So Bentleigh edging towards what would just be the 5th time in their history alongside Bayside that they've managed to get a result against Bulleen. There's a possibility still that it's a positive result as well. 3 points there for the taking. That ball in towards Lefebvre, cut out by Yasevsky. And so we head into the final 10 minutes of regulation time. A goal now you'd think would very likely be enough to secure 3 points. This is Martin's first involvement. Rose Martin's cross inside, meets the head of Bridges. Roger towards Golden. Taylor Golden, space to get the shot away, off the crossbar and out. Taylor Golden very nearly with the moment of magic that Bulleen craved. Rattles the crossbar. One of those that could have been just low enough to end up in the back of the net. Taylor Murphy very grateful that it was just high enough to deny the Bulleen striker. Taylor Golden almost getting her second goal in 2 weeks off the bench. But for now, Bulleen will have to continue their hunt. You can see the space for attacking players more than they've had for most of this game. Sarah Kane telling her players to make the run. Martins obliges, but Tolios was well positioned to intercept. Now Sydney Allen. Keffins on the left-hand side. Cutting into the right. Now Caitlin Story. Couple of physical challenges from the Bulleen defence, which is enough to defy the Bentleigh attack. And with that, Bulleen will take their chance to make another substitution. And it's the end of the evening for Nia Saleh, heavily involved in most of Bulleen's moves going forward. She'll make way for Sasha Kozamara, who we've seen start a couple of games earlier in the season. The runner-up, best and fairest in Bulleen's under-20s team last season, Sasha Kozamara. Long ball over the top, asking Roger to chase. Stoichevsky did well. It'll be Bentleigh's turn to make use of their bench again at the next break in play. And it's another one of the former Alamein brigade, Daniela DePetta, who will get her chance in the last 5 or 6 minutes of regulation time. And that change will now be forthcoming. Looks to be Caitlin Story who will be withdrawn to make way for DePetta. So both coaches making their moves as we head towards the conclusion of this game. A game in which, well, a goal now would surely seal 3 points. This is Candelas. Plays it backwards to Kenny, who looks towards Allen. Sydney Allen just putting her hands on her knees for a moment there. Bent over in exhaustion, really. She's just provided so much to the Bentleigh attack throughout the night, but the the final product hasn't been there in the finishing third up until this point. Bridges uses the left-hand side. Kozumara getting there ahead of Allen. You can see how sprightly Sasha Kozumara is, having just come into the game. Karina Tolios has had an excellent second half, reading the ball very smartly. Might have to do so again, but instead Bentleigh win the ball up higher off the pitch. Allen. Ball sent clear. And Martins keeps the play alive. Sarah Kane now sets Golden a task. There are two Bentleigh defenders ahead of her. It's Bridges, who you'd say would be right up there for best on ground with tonight's performance. She's had an answer to just about everything that Bulleen has thrown at her. Strong challenge from DePetta. And Bentleigh stream forward. It's a long-range attempt that's the choice of Emily Keffins. Sydney Allen, you can see, weary ahead of her, and maybe that was part of the decision-making from the young forward, deciding that the best bet was just having a crack from distance. Sofronides now sticking a toe in. And Bentleigh, they look the fresher, they look the more likely at the minute. Malloy for Bulleen with 2 minutes remaining in the 90. Kane's ball, Golden wasn't looking in the right direction. Candelas loses it to Kane. Tolios again. Now Kozumara. Sarah Kane has just been relentless in her work ethic this evening. That's a great run from Roger. Still Rosie Roger. Still going is the Bulleen midfielder. Had to come off her line, did Murphy. Eventually is in place to smother the ball. But Rosie Roger almost putting the run together with the finishing product as well. That Bulleen midfield pairing of Kane and Roger that have been ever present for Caitlin Friend's team so far this season. Maybe haven't quite had the control in the middle of the park that they would have liked, but Kane's won the ball back countless times. Rosie Roger continuing to pose an attacking threat. Reagan Bridges stepping out of defence. Renahan, her opposite number, doing so just as effectively. This is a chance for Martins. Substitute Rose Martins for Karina Tolios. Getting back, winning the ball and sending it clear. So we're about to find out how much stoppage time we will have. How much more opportunity will these teams be provided to snag a winner in the dying minutes? The decision is a Bulleen corner as we head into second half stoppage time. 3 minutes of it. And Sasha Kozamara is the player who's running over to deliver. Kozamara with the in-swinger. Finds a Bulleen head, and Bulleen have done it! In second half stoppage time, the delivery into the area, and Bulleen Lions look to have won the game with one of the final attacks of the contest. Well, it's heartbreak for Bentleigh. Relief for Bulleen. They may not deserve the 3 points based on how the game's played out, but they won't care because they're just a couple of minutes away from taking them home with them. A mass of bodies in the penalty area. And Bentleigh, they've defended those fairly comfortably throughout the evening, But when it counts in the dying minutes, when your concentration and defensive structures are at their most stretched, that's when those corner opportunities can do their most damage. And that may well be the moment that secures Bulleen the win. Well, looking at the replay, I think it was Taylor Golden who got the header and ultimately ended up in the back of the net. And if so, it's a second goal in 2 games for the American recruit. This one even more important than the last, because it looks as if it will secure a win for Bulleen. A really hard-fought one. On a cold night at Kingston Heath, Martin's looking to add the icing to the cake. And with that ball out of play, Bulleen will take their time getting the game back in action with this throw-in. We have ticked over the 3 minutes, which were accounted for by the 4th officials board. Perhaps time for one final Bentleigh foray forward. Allen on the ball. Looks inside and now to Petta. Central run being made by Kenny out to Candelas. Cross inside behind all of the attackers. And as that ball's cleared, Stojcevski hoping to continue the attack. Allen turns back central. And there's more than a little of a tug of the shirt, which will eventually prompt the referee's whistle. So one final attempt for Bentleigh to salvage a point from this game. That ball right into the gloves, though, of Emily Shields. And with that, the final whistle blows. Bulleen Lions have snatched 3 points from Kingston Heath. A header from a corner in second half stoppage time proves to be decisive. And Bulleen will be grateful that they take 3 points back home with them to the Veneto club. It's back-to-back wins in NPLW for Bulleen. Whilst for Bentleigh, the poor run of form that they've been on over the last month does continue. They probably didn't deserve to lose this game based on their performance tonight. But at the end of the day, the scoreline that matters reads Bentleigh Greens 0, Bulleen Lions 1.